Okay, wonderful. Welcome everyone to our first alumni panel of the academic year. My name is Sharon Vogler. I serve as Director of Alumni and MBA Career Development. And it's my job to put our amazing alumni and our amazing students in the same spaces and places so that they can learn from one another. And so I'm not going to do most of the talking this evening. I will ask some questions that I've already prepped the panelists for. And really, students, I want to give you the opportunity towards the end of our time together today to ask them questions. They're here to serve you and to help you learn. And so if there's something on your mind, it's probably on the minds of other students. So I really encourage everyone to ask some good questions. Okay, and so I'm going to kick us off with asking the panelists to just introduce themselves, how they're affiliated with Wake Forest, where they work, where they live, what city and state they live in, and of course, what firm they work for. So Maddie, you're first. I'm going to go Maddie. I don't want to get Gehrig. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you
Gehrig
got it.
second, Grace, Maddie Dudley, and then Elvis fifth. So Maddie Ross, start us off.
Hey everybody. So I'm Maddie Rawls. I just graduated from Wake. I've got my MSN last year, so just finished in last May. But went to Wake undergrad as well. Studied economics and psychology with a minor in Spanish. Loved it, but didn't quite want to leave. So now I'm a double teak. Got my master's in management. Knew I loved North Carolina and wanted to stay, so ended up here in Charlotte, where it's by Serona.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
No.
no. Maddie broke up a little bit. So tell us again where you work.
Okay. That's not good. Okay. Yeah, I work at Dentsply Sirona. So a lot of people haven't heard of them before, but they are the largest manufacturer of professional dental products. So anything from the x-ray machines to the chair at the dentist office. I'm in a finance rotation program there. So doing a lot of corporate accounting currently, but yeah, I love Charlotte. It's a great city to be in and enjoying my job so far.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maddie. Okay, Gehrig.
Yeah, hey everyone. My name's Gary Anderson. So I graduated from Wake in 22. Did my undergrad BEM major, minors in psych and entrepreneurship. So I work for Corning, which is based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Probably never heard of Corning, but we're a technology company that specializes in fiber optics. So we make everything from the glass to your iPhone to the telephone poles you see outside, like the black cables connecting them. That's also us. So anything you need kind of to connect to the internet, watch TikTok, whatever it may be, we're kind of the product behind the wall. So that's a little bit. I hope that is a good intro for everyone.
What, and did you say where you lived?
Yeah, so I'm also in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Fantastic. And you may have said it, I might have just missed it.
Yeah.
Grace, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for having me. Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Well, hi everyone. My name is Grace Sullivan. I also graduated with my Bachelor in Science in 2022 from the business school. I was a BEM major as well, concentrating in organizational psychology and then minoring in counseling and psychology as well. So now I'm based in the Boston area, so in Boston, Massachusetts, and I work for Dell Technologies. So I hope you have heard of them. I'm currently in the HR rotation program, working as an organizational development strategist. So helping the business a lot with reorgs and really modernizing our function to make sure that our structure is as efficient as humanly possible. So doing a lot of the people work, absolutely love it, and very excited to speak about it today.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Maddie Dudley. It's going to be hard for me to call you Dudley, but I'm up for the challenge. It's good to see you.
It is hard for me to call myself Dudley. I've not quite gotten used to the new last name. It's only been a couple of of months now. So I am Maddie Dudley. I'm the old lady of the group, apparently, having done my MSM in 2019. It was the first year that it was the MSM, not the MAM program. So I did my undergrad at Wofford College, double majored in psychology and French, did not know what I wanted to do with my life. So I decided let's go to business school. While in the program at Wake, I still didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And so I figured a rotational program would be a great way to continue to figure out what I was good at, what my skill set was, and where I was going to fit most comfortably. I have been with Unum, or you may know them as Colonial Life. That's our office in South Carolina, since 2019, since 8 days after graduating at Wake. I did a series of 3 rotations. I since finished the program and am a director of operations with the organization. I'm in the greater Charlotte area. I did sell my soul to the suburbs, so I actually live down in Rock Hill, but your money goes a lot further down here.
Well, great. Thanks for being here. I think you're going to provide a really great perspective since you finished your rotational program and the logistics of how that worked. We'll get back to that in just a second. But Elvis, it's so good to see you too.
Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, Sharon.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elvis. I graduated from Wake Forest last year, May. I graduated from the MSBA program. My background originally was in finance. I still love finance, but my new passion now has always been computers. So I work currently in a 2-year rotational program at Lenovo. It's a data science rotational program. So I help the team here to make data-driven decisions with my skill set, and then my training at Wake Forest.
And where do you live?
Currently, I live in Cary, which is my place of residence is just about 10 minutes from the office. Yes.
Very good. Well, we have competitors on the phone, Dell and Lenovo. Interesting. I didn't plan it that way. Okay, let's get back to Maddie. Maddie, would you tell everyone how you learned about the rotational program at Dentsply and what it was like to interview with them and how you actually, like the timing of when you were finishing up your master's degree and starting the program? Just walk us through like when you first met them and then when you started working for them.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually discovered Dentsply when I was a senior at Wake at the career fair. So there were a few different recent grads, who had just started the rotation program. And I heard about it. It was on my radar. At the time, I was more interested in the marketing rotation program that they had. And then once I decided to pursue my MSM degree, became more interested in finance and met them again at the career fair, where I learned about the different opportunities that they had in different rotations. So I'm currently in corporate accounting, and they range anywhere from any SEC reporting team, financial planning and analysis, investor relations, anything within corporate finance we would do. So it was really interesting to hear about it. And then upon talking to Wake grads and just couple phone calls, getting to know more about the program and the company, I was sold and then applied. Ended up doing, I believe the interview process was a phone call and then 2 Zoom meetings with senior directors in the company. So it was an exciting process to go through, just learning more about the company too. But yeah, really learned more about them in MSM. So yeah.
And so what were those interviews like? I know the first one was probably more of a screening type of call, but when you really got in the weeds with them, like what were the interviews like? What could students that are currently thinking about interviewing with them expect?
Yeah, so the interviews I'd say were a lot more behavioral and conversational. I know some jobs are looking for more hard technical skills straight out of graduation. But I'd say that Dentsply really just wants to know that you're eager and willing to learn because it is a rotational program. They don't really expect you to come in knowing everything. A lot of technologies that you do use in programs and processes are stuff that you're going to learn on the job. So they do just want to see that you're able to, that you have all those soft skills and you're interested, and any previous experiences that you have, of course, taking initiative. But it was definitely, it's scary, but it's not as scary as you'd think. Definitely rotational programs are great because they know that you're entry level and just wanting to learn.
And when did you interview with them? Like, did you start this process in the fall of your master's year, or like how did the whole thing time out? Yeah.
So I was in the fall. I knew personally I wanted to focus as much as I could on the program and have a job lined up upon graduation. So I definitely took a lot of initiative earlier on in the year to make sure that I was researching what I liked and applying to those roles. So I think it was by end of October I had my job lined up, and I personally like that because that was something I didn't have to stress about for graduation, and then I could focus on academics and getting what I wanted to out of my classes and
So you
GCE.
interviewed, yeah. So you interviewed and got your offer in the fall of last year. So about this time last year, you were interviewing.
Yes, that's right. They usually try to complete interviews before winter break. And I think I applied just before the career fair or just after.
Well, don't I wish they all would do that? It would make for a whole lot less stressful kids in the business school,
I wasn't
at
paid
the
to say
university.
that.
Yeah. Okay, Gary, tell us about your experience with Corning, how you met them, what the interview was like, and the timing of everything.
Yeah, so I didn't mention in my intro, so I did the commercial rotation program for Corning right after I graduated in 22. When I kind of went through the program, it was a year. Since then, they've shortened it to 6 months, which I like better because there was a lot of downtime during my program where I felt like there wasn't a lot going on, which was good for, networking purposes and things like that. But I like to be busy and all of that. So I think it's good that they shortened it to 6 months. So I did that for 6 months, and then I got placed into a program, a job after that for data analytics. So doing kind of Excel, backend data, Power BI, all that fun stuff that we learn about in our business classes. So I did that for about a year. And I have since kind of moved on to like a sales position at the company. So in the 2 years, I've kind of moved around a lot, which the rotational program kind of gave me that opportunity to do. So just being able to network and do things like that. So complete sidebar, but to answer your first question, I found out about Corning my senior year at Wake, going through the interview process, found them out at the career fair, met with them, did kind of the same that Madeline kind of talked about, right? Kind of an informal interview, just kind of a screening. And then they did like a formal, tell me about yourself, those kind of typical interview questions as the second one. And then the third one, actually, they brought us to their headquarters for a like speed dating night. So you did kind of a speed dating night with like high level executives where they ask you questions about yourself, you move around, talk to a bunch of different people. So it was a good feel for me to experience kind of like the city itself, because it was in Charlotte, as well as like where the office is, my commute, and just kind of get my feet wet for like a night per se.
Very good. And what the timing again was, fall of your senior year?
Yeah, so fall of my senior year, we actually finished up before Thanksgiving, which I liked. So, I didn't have any prospects going into my senior year, so knew I had to work, a little harder, and go to the career fair, attend those events, and just kind of, work it a little bit, following up with people, things like that. The one thing I will say, I networked a lot through the interview process with Wake alumni. Corning has a lot of Wake alumni. They were all willing to help. So gave me kind of those, like what the questions were going to be like, what to expect and all of that. So happy to help myself with kind of those things, even if it's not at Corning. But I would definitely reach out, use Wake's network if you're worried about some of the questions that you're going to face.
It's great advice. Grace, tell us about how you met with Dell. I know it's a little different. They were not at the career fair.
They were not. So I met them actually my junior year of college. So I originally started at Dell for an internship. So started in their HR internship for the summer of 2021. So with that, I met them through a variety of alumni and joined the program through that, and had a 10-week internship. At the time, the offices were closed, so it was completely remote. And I will say that internships are probably the best way to get into Dell. For both master's students and undergrads, as pretty much all of their emerging talent. It's their major pipeline through a 10-week internship and then an offer typically in the fall after your internship if you perform well. So with that being said, after the summer was done, I received an offer in the fall of my senior year and joined the program that next year once I graduated. So it was a little bit of a different process. With that internship process, interview process, it was a coffee chat. So an informal interview with an alumni from Wake. And then after that, it was 2 behavioral interviews. So 2 45-minute behavioral interviews, both online, and then received the offer shortly after that.
Very nice. Very nice. Maddie?
Yes, I was familiar with the Colonial Life brand. Being from Columbia, the Colonial Life Arena is where the Gamecocks play basketball, but I was not familiar with what Colonial Life or Unum actually did. So I actually found the rotational program through Handshake. I exclusively looked at rotational programs. I did not apply to anything other than rotational programs when I was looking for a job. And what I really liked about this one was that it had the opportunity to live in different locations and that it is a longer rotational program than many. So it's a 3.5 to 4 year rotational program versus just that 6-month or 12-month like some others are. So it's a series of 3 rotations that range from 12 to 18 months, and they encourage you to live in at least 2 of the locations where offices are. So I did my first rotation in Columbia at the office, in the Colonial Life office, and then I moved to Portland, Maine during COVID to do a rotation. I moved in January during COVID, which was a crazy decision, but I would do it again if I had the opportunity. So that is one of the reasons that it really appealed to me, because it was longer. It gave you more opportunities to try things and really integrate into the organization. And I also kind of liked what it spit you out as. So I graduated from the program at a director level position and felt incredibly prepared, having done 3 rotations previous to take that director level position and not feel like a fish out of water. The interview process was pretty intense. There was a phone screening followed by a 1-hour Zoom call, followed by an in-person assessment day, which was a behavioral interview, a case study that you had to do on the fly, and a presentation that they sent you a week in advance that you had to pull together, like a 10-minute presentation for. And this was all with senior leadership.
And what was the timing of your interviewing and your offer?
Yeah, so the rec is typically evergreen. I went through the entire process in February. So I spent my fall semester really just focusing on academics and figuring out what I was looking for. I knew I wasn't one of those who wanted to go into consulting like so many in the program and so many at Wake do. So I let the consultants get out of the way in the fall, and I really started looking in kind of early spring semester. So I think I went through the entire program or the entire interview process in January, February.
Very nice. And so you said you found it on Handshake, and so they're not a part of our on-campus, um, they're not a typical employer that comes to campus to interview. So were you just filtering and searching rotational programs on that platform? Nice.
100%. I actually, I'm from Columbia and I was not looking at any positions in Columbia. I did not want to move back home. I applied to the position to appease my mother, to say I applied to just one single job in Columbia. And 5.5 years later, it's a great decision.
Nice, nice. And you don't live in Columbia.
And I don't live in Columbia. Yeah.
Okay, Elvis, how did you find, or how did Lenovo find you? And tell us about the timing and the interviews. We can't hear you. Nope. Still can't hear you. Nope.
Oh,
There we go.
you can hear me now, right?
Now we can, yes.
Okay. So I got to learn about Lenovo's rotational program through the career fair. So Sally mentioned to us that Lenovo will be at the career fair. I was interested in a technical role outside of college, and also I was interested in technology or finance. So when she mentioned that they will be present at the career fair, I prepared purposely just to go and meet with them. One of the things that I did was, when I was going to the career fair, took along my resume, but also I had a portfolio of works that I had done that was on my GitHub. I just printed it, and then I added that to my resume, and I went to the career fair with it. So when I met with the team, I just told them that, like, hey, hi, I'm Elvis. I like computers a lot, and this is my resume, but don't look at my resume. Just look at my portfolio of work that I have done.
Wow.
So they were really interested in my portfolio of work. So they got back to me that I should put in an application, which I did. And then after that, I think it took about 2 weeks. They asked me to do sort of a screening interview, but it was a combination of a recorded video interview and then sort of like open-ended questions. Some of them like just to assess my technical ability to respond to some of the questions. After that, about a month after that, I got the opportunity to do an interview. The interview was like a 3-series interview. There was a behavioral interview, and then there was a technical interview session. And then I think the last part was just for me to get to know, like, speak to my supervisor. So that was pretty much it. The technical interview was more of like them trying to know how I'm able to frame business problems into data problems. And also they wanted to know if whether I'm really good at some of the projects that I did in the past. They wanted to understand and then see if I can be able to translate that into what I'll be doing for the team. After that, about a month after that, I got an offer. But because I was an international student, so I had limited options. The offer was really good, and then I just accepted with the help of the career development team. Yeah.
And did all that transpire in the spring semester or the fall semester?
It lapsed between the fall and spring. Yeah.
Okay, so you started with them in the fall, and then it just carried over, and you got your offer in the spring.
Yes.
Very, very good. We're going to switch gears for just a second. We want to hear about what a typical day is like, or even typical week. Like, tell us. We're going to go in the same order again, Maddie. Like, do you go to the office every day? Is it a business casual? Dress code. What are you currently just observing, or are you actually doing work? Like, tell us exactly what you do.
Yeah. So to start, I guess, so I'm currently in corporate accounting, which I mentioned. A lot of my responsibilities, it's a monthly cyclical kind of process that repeats. So actually starting tomorrow being the first of the month, I'm gonna have 5 work days, 5 business days that are really intense. So it's a lot of making journal entries, doing reclasses and accruals to make sure that all of our expenses and transactions are reflective of the services that we're performing each month because we are a public company. Then after that month, I feel like it typically calms down a little bit. And I'm working on more just various projects, doing this fixed asset inventories. And if you haven't taken an accounting class, this probably will go over your head. Lots of intercompany invoices. I'd say it's very cyclical, so it's very busy for a week, and then the rest of the month is more relaxed. But I am definitely not as much observing as I feel like some rotation programs. I'm definitely a part of the team and very needed, especially during that week. But I do have a hybrid role, so I work from home typically Mondays and Fridays. Unless it's that week, I'm usually in the office. It's very flexible, so my manager is very hands-off as long as I'm getting my work done. I usually go into the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as do a lot of the rotation program. The other people in the rotation program do. When we do have a cafeteria in our office building, so Wednesdays we all look forward to our free lunch. So definitely everybody's in the office on Wednesdays, I'll say that. But it is really nice to have the flexibility to be able to work from home if you need to. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. It's definitely learning a lot and really thrown in. And what's great is I have the opportunity to work with other teams if I want to. So extended teams, if they need help, there's always something that you can get involved in and kind of broaden your experiences.
So do you commute? I know for those of you who aren't familiar with Charlotte, their office is in the Ballantyne neighborhood. So do you get in a car to commute? Do you take the light rail? How do you get there? What's that like?
Yeah. So I do drive to work, and Charlotte traffic isn't ideal, but I'm going south and most people are going north to uptown. So it's about 30 minutes every day to and from. Sometimes I time when I go in the office to avoid traffic, which is nice having that flexibility. It's not like I have to come in at a certain time or leave at a certain time. But yeah, I am working closer actually to the other Maddie who's in Rock Hill. So probably in between where most people live and more south. But yeah, it's not too bad of a commute, but yeah.
It's a commute.
Yeah. It is, yeah. But yeah, I
Gonna-
can't take the light rail, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I
hopefully
wish.
one day. Yeah, hopefully one day.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, tell us what it's like to work. What are you doing now? What did you do today? And what's it like to commute to the office?
Yeah, so I'm in the office 3 days a week. Similar to Maddie said, I like to be at home on Mondays and Fridays. In the office Tuesday through Thursday. For me during my rotational program, it was a lot. So it's 4 different rotations. So we did product line management, marketing, some sales. So it was a wide variety of projects, anything from like digital marketing, figuring out what search terms to use to best highlight some of our products. Product line management was more on like what customers should we target, what messaging should we use. Sales, we kind of did like ride-alongs with existing salespeople. So getting in the car with some of the local people and following them to a customer visit, which was just good experience to be there. And ultimately led me to the position I was in today, which is sales. So I'm a business development specialist. So my day-to-day now kind of consists of like prospecting new clients, trying to bring new customers into our portfolio. So I do a lot of like pitching, a lot of decks, a lot of value prop work, just showcasing kind of what we have compared to kind of our competitors. So 3 days in the office. I also have to drive to the office. But like Maddie said, it's kind of like a reverse commute. So as I'm going out of the city in the morning, people are coming in, and then vice versa on the way home. So it's like 20-25 minutes. So I prefer to drive, honestly. I wish I could walk, but driving's okay too. It's not that bad. It's only 20 minutes.
And
So
where is the office in Charlotte?
so they're in Huntersville, which is north of Charlotte. It's kind of close to like if you're heading towards Lake Norman, if people know where that is. It's just not as far, obviously. So
Very good. All right, Grace, what's it like to live and work in Boston? And what are you currently working on?
Yeah, so the HR rotation program that I'm in is actually 3 years long as well. So kind of similar to Maddie Dudley's program. My first role was in global payroll. My second role, I was the North American intern program coordinator. And then my third role, I'm the HR for HR organizational development strategist. So really have spanned a lot of different functions, and with that, a lot of different work. Right now, a lot of my work, I'm essentially working as a business facing individual for the HR function, which is a very fun and niche space to work in. Very, very cyclical. So that means I support pay planning, succession planning. I support a lot of performance management throughout the HR function. And then right now, Dell and the HR function at Dell just went through a pretty big reorganization. So with that, I've been doing a lot of job architecture work and kind of fixing our HR function structure to like fit with our new model, and then a lot of future skills research as well. So doing a lot of research with consulting companies to see what are the skills that people are looking for in the future of HR? What are those things that are going to really make us be a top HR function? And how can we implement professional development platforms to get us there? So it's been very interesting work, definitely different than what I was expecting. I joined HR really thinking that it was hiring, firing, paying, benefits. And I think that's what a lot of people think. But especially at Dell, I've been shocked at how much like breadth and depth there is in the work that we do. And with such a big company, there's so many opportunities to succeed and really kind of play on different skills as well. So been very interesting, worked a lot in Excel, a lot in PowerPoint, and a lot of program management, project management work as well. But on a more practical level, I commute in 3 days a week. So kind of depends on the week, what days I go in. I work with my team to figure out when's the best time. And I reverse commute as well. It's actually an hour or so outside of the city. So I do commute very far. But it's worth it. I know it's worth it to live in Boston. I love the city. And then I can take 2 days from home. So definitely use that flexibility.
Do you ride the train?
I can't, which is unfortunate. So our office is in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. And so unfortunately, our MBTA does not get there. And so I have to take a car. So take the Mass Pike every day. It's really fun, me and the other commuters. But
Do you go up? Is it north?
it's south or southwest.
Okay.
So it's most everyone in kind of the undergrad, like recent grad, lives in the city, and then the rest of the just Dell in general kind of lives around. It's one of our two main hubs. Our other hub is in Austin, Texas.
I was gonna say, what is it? Is it what else are they doing there in that Boston facility? Are they making things there?
Yeah, so the office that I'm in, so Dell acquired EMC in 2018, and EMC is the main servers that Dell uses. So we are essentially kind of that main house for all of our servers and all of our cloud storage. And then we'll also be the house for all of our AI systems as well. So it's a pretty cool office to be in. There's a lot of engineers, and we have a pretty big sales department there too. And then we have a little bit of a smaller HR department up here, but work very heavily with people around the globe. So use a lot of Zoom every day to make sure we're all connected.
Very cool. Okay, Maddie Dudley, tell us about the rotations you went through and what you do right now and what your commute's like.
Yes, so my first rotation, I was an assistant hiring manager for our contact center. It was a lot of hiring and firing. I did at least 2 to 3 interviews per day, very operational in nature, and a lot of people management within that role as well. So a lot of making sure new employees are onboarded correctly, they're meeting their performance objectives, performance managing them out of the role if necessary. And that was pre-COVID. So 5 days a week in the office in Columbia before people knew that working from home was such a wonderful thing. My second rotation, I moved up to Portland, Maine, which is where one of our other large campuses are. The big campuses for UNM are in Columbia, Portland, Maine, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I moved from Columbia to Portland and changed roles completely and joined our digital transformation space and was a project manager for a large scale sales reorg, everything that entailed. I owned our test and learn in the kind of small piece of it and our entire feedback loop. So I went from a really operational role to digital transformation where no day looked the same. And we were really digging into the systems and figuring out how things were going to work, testing and learning and implementing all types of new things. And then from there, I moved back south and moved back to the Colonial Life brand. So I went from the Colonial Life brand to the Unum brand, back to the Colonial Life brand, but all within the big umbrella, and was a project manager for our sales operation, really focusing on making sure our sales teams had all the resources that they needed. And that was a hybrid role as well. This current role that I sit in, my kind of graduation position from the rotational program, I am fully remote. I do not have an office to commute into. The closest office to me would be our Columbia office, which is about an hour and 15 minutes. And the company's position on hybrid is 50 miles from the office is required to be in, and I am outside of that. So I am fully remote, but I do quite a bit of travel in this position, which kind of makes up for it. I was just in Minneapolis last week and Chattanooga the week before that. My role right now is focused on our dental and vision lines of business, and my role is focused on sales strategy and some of the financial aspects that go along with making sure that we are profitable with what we are selling.
Sounds like fun. How do you like remote?
I have done both. I've done a full 5 days in the week, 5 days in the office. When I lived in Portland, I did 4 days in the office, 1 day at home. When I did my third rotation, I did a 3-2 schedule. There are pros and cons to everything. If I had an office closer to me, I probably would go in a couple days a week. I get a little stir crazy working from home full time. But there are some great flexible things that come along with being able to be at home.
Yeah, very nice. All right, Elvis, what are you currently doing? What rotation are you in, and what's it like getting to that office? We still can't hear you.
Hello?
Got it.
Okay. So
We lost
you. Oh no.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
It's coming in and out.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Now.
Okay. So I'm in my third rotation currently. When I started, I was in a business intelligence rotation. So my daily activities mostly involves building automated reports, and in doing that, we use Power BI a lot. So when I joined the team, there were 2 data scientists already on the team, and then I was the 3rd person. But because I was skilled in building Power BI reports, so majority of the workload that is around Power BI reports, I was the one doing it. But then my second rotation was data engineer rotation. So that involves like me building data pipelines, and in doing that, I use Python and I use SQL to move data, transform the data, and put it in a data warehouse that other analysts or business analysts would then use. I really enjoyed that aspect of my rotation a lot, because it was pretty much everything that I learned from Wake Forest, especially the data management class that we took. I remember one time I reached out to the professor, and I was really appreciating her for taking time to really explain like the fundamental concepts, not just writing simple queries. But these are, when I joined, I could see like thousands of lines of SQL code. But data management class really prepared me for it. So I really enjoyed my second rotation. My current rotation is purely data science. So it's a bit of doing simulation and then building predictive models. So I still use Python a lot. I also use SQL also a lot. But at the end of every project, we mostly present them in either PowerPoint, or we present them in Power BI reports as well. So that is what I currently do. My current rotation involves more of simulation. So I know Scott Schaefer had a class really popular and really difficult class, but it's very, very useful in my current rotation as well. At the end of my rotation period is 6 months. So at the end of every 6 months, we do what we call rotational presentations to like the VP and then other directors of the rotational programs, also as well as other people who are outside of the rotational program. So it's really good platform for me to showcase my presentation skills as well. My daily, so at Lenovo, the rotational program, every Wednesday we call it like a rotational day. So that one, everybody is supposed to be at work. I work 3 days in the office and 2 days from home. So Monday is my functional team day. So I'm always in the office on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I pick any other day to be in the office. But because Lenovo is a global company, so you own your time, because sometimes you have to work late hours because you have a team in China, or you have a team in UK, or in Hungary. So it's very global. Sometimes maybe you have to wake up early in the morning to have meetings as well. So
Wow.
that is
Own your time. And you drive a car to your office in Cary? Drive a
yes.
car.
But where I live is not far from the office. The office is located just in the outskirts of Morrisville. So yeah, we have 3 buildings on the campus. One building is for like engineers, so they have testing of servers, testing of laptops, and then there's another building dedicated to the sales team, and then where I work is purely for the supply chain.
Supply chain. Very cool. Okay, so we're almost right at 6:15. I wanted to pause and give students an opportunity to ask questions. So if you have a question, just come off mute and let us see your pretty face and ask your question. No one has a question. Okay. Y'all know how I feel about asking really good questions. So I'll end this with asking each one of our panelists to close with the best advice that you can give these students if they're interested in your firm, and the best way to get in touch with you. And we'll go in the same order.
Hey, yeah, if you're interested in Densify, I'd say definitely just you can reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn. I know my name isn't listed, but I think Sharon's sent out an email. But yeah, definitely connect on LinkedIn and I'm happy to share more information. But I'd say in terms of just general advice, keep an open mind. I feel like I would have never guessed I'd be working for a company that manufactures dental products. But the experience of working for a global company and of the value of a rotation is amazing. So definitely keep an open mind, and I'm happy to stay in touch with any of you on this call.
Fantastic. Gary?
Yeah, I guess the one thing for me that I would say in terms of rotational programs, don't be afraid to kind of try a bunch of different things, right? And while you're there, you have the chance to do a bunch of different things. Don't be afraid to do something that might not be comfortable because you might actually like it. So I think challenging yourself, for me, Corning's a very like technical company. I'm a business person, so I was like a little worried about the engineering piece of it, but ultimately I kind of found it to be something that I liked. So I would say challenge yourself in that regard. In terms of getting in touch with Corning, if you're interested, our rotational program is posted on Handshake. So apply for that if you're interested, as well as I'm sure you can get my contact info. Happy to talk to you about Corning, any other questions you may have, or the right person kind of that you want to talk to if you have a specific question about marketing or the, product line management, something like that. I can get you in contact with the right person too.
Fantastic. Grace?
My piece of advice is a little similar to Garrig's. I think it is really important to say yes to things that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, and you might not be 100% prepared for. I think the spaces and the times that I've grown the most are raising my hand for projects or a job that I might not feel fully confident in my skills for. But I'm a firm believer that hard skills always can be taught. As long as you go into something with a learning mindset and you go in asking the right questions and really wanting to get the most out of your experience, you will. And the rest of it will kind of fall into place. So that is probably my best advice that I would give to myself going back into this process, and would give to all of you as well. But in general, if you're interested in Dell, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I can get you connected to the right team if you need anyone, or if you're interested in HR as well. Would love to talk to you more about it. It's, I think, a very undervalued field, and I've absolutely loved my experience in it, and definitely think it's a great career path for really any sort of person.
Fantastic. Maddie?
Yeah, I think it's really important when you guys are looking at rotational programs or looking at roles in general to really kind of pros and cons, what's going to work for you. I almost did not apply to the position or to the organization that I'm with now because 4 years of a rotational program felt like a lifetime. And I wasn't sure that I was willing to commit that much to one company and then want to stay there after that. I'm so glad that I did stick it through, but I spent a lot of time deciding and really thinking about if it was going to be the best decision for me or if I wanted to join a rotational program that was only 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Different organizations have different types of programs for a reason to match what different individuals are looking for and what they need. So would take the time, do the due diligence to figure out what's really going to work for you and your career path moving forward. And then I'll tack on to what other Maddie said too. I did not dream of working for an insurance company when I was a little girl. No little girl's like, oh my gosh, I want to work for the big insurance company. But the skills are so transferable amongst different industries, and the skills that I gained at Wake really relate so much to what I am doing now. If you want to learn more about the program at UNM, you can just reach out to my email or LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect and talk more.
Fantastic.
All right.
Elvis?
Yes. So, I think in terms of if you are interested in a rotational program at Lenovo, they have 2 rotational programs: the data science or business intelligence program, and then they have the business program as well. So I think I'll put the links in the chat before we close. The deadline for application is this coming Friday. So if you really want to apply, I will urge you to apply. In terms of like the business intelligence or data science rotation, I feel like if you are applying, you already have all the technical skills you need. The only thing that I would suggest you do is to know how to like sell your skill set, because most of the time when you are interacting with the recruiters is having the ability to really communicate your hard skills that you've learned at Wake Forest, having that ability to communicate it in a relatable manner, right? That will really, really put you above other people when you apply, because majority of the people that I work with, they are business people. So they want to bring in somebody who can be able to really help them understand like how, like these numbers that I'm looking at, or this trend I'm looking at, how does it really impact the business? So if you have that ability to really be able to present, really be able to make difficult or technical, like more of technical concepts, really present them in a relatable manner to business people, that will really put you above everybody else. Yeah, thank you. To reach out to me, you can reach out to me via LinkedIn as well. And then, yeah.
I will, for everyone who dialed in via handshake and came to the panel, I will make sure you have everyone's LinkedIn address. And I do know for a fact they all check their LinkedIn and they're very responsive on LinkedIn. That's how I got them on the panel. So I know they look at it. Elvis, thanks for sending those links. And like you said, if you are interested in them, the deadline is this Friday. So our timing is pretty ideal to have Elvis with us. I'll give the students one more opportunity to ask a question. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for investing, right? It's an hour of your time, but it's a huge investment in helping co-educate our students on different career paths and different industries. And so if no one else has any other questions, I'm going to let these guys get on with their evening. One more second. Okay, I think you guys are off the hook. Go Deeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Thanks.
yeah,
Thank you.
check those LinkedIn inboxes, and I'm sure you'll get lots of opportunities to connect with our students. So thanks, guys. Bye.
Awesome. Excited about it. Thank you.
Thanks
Sounds
all.
good. Bye.